Yeah, I don't know about the Jerome Gambit. How would Magnus salvage these scenarios? Well, Magnus is a pro, so he would have figured out something. He would have already. I think Magnus would have figured out H4. Honestly, if I'm honestly thinking about that move of like kicking a knight around, yeah, H4 was a perfect move to do. So now our opponent is doing E6. Everybody's doing E6. I'm gonna do knight to F3. I'm gonna do the same line again, and then just figure out how they're going to defend against the Torre attack. I'm gonna do bishop G5. E3, C3, bishop D3, knight to D2, etc. Same stuff. They might actually do G5 here. But if they do G5, I feel like your pawns are kind of overextended. But they could prove me wrong. That would make it an interesting game. I know it's allowed, but in a human standpoint, I don't know. So now I'm out of opening book, and maybe my opponent is used to doing this. So we're going to have to take this very seriously. And we're going to have to stay up on the clock. All right. Y'all ready for this? So it's time to put on your seatbelt and start calculating. The knight can go to D2 here. Very passive, very safe move.
And his name is John C.
I'm glad everybody's getting their John Cena on. All right. So we got knight to E5. Knight to H4 just looks bad. I'm not even considering that. We got knight to G1, weirdly enough. The only thing that appeases me the most is knight to D5, but that does give them the option of doing the move D6. D6 attacking our knight. We're gonna go a little bit faster though. I don't know the intricacies of this position here, but we are just going to put the knight to D2. Because like I said before, you don't want to get too far below your opponent in time. It's very important not to get too far below in time against your opponent. The only weird part about playing this position is I'm going to do E3. I was going to do C3, but now I'm going to have to figure out...
FBI, open up!
It's funny because TikTok can hear those sounds now. But now I'm going to have to figure out, and those sound alerts is coming from Twitch, guys. So if you want to do sound alerts, no money at all. It's just based on channel points. You can do sound alerts on my channel. Just like how they're doing. So they're really going ham right now. They're really trying to push up these pawns, trap the bishop, etc. I think if they push up too much, though, I could do bishop to F4 here. But I'm not usually a person to talk to when it comes to like figuring out how to defend. So this is actually a challenge for me too. The moves that I am thinking of though is actually H3 already. H3. But I will have to consider H4 if I ever do H3, because after H3, H4, bishop F4, they could potentially do G3, F takes, H takes, bishop takes again, and then my pawn searchers run. They got crazy moves like rook to G8, etc. I could do, weirdly enough, bishop to H4 here. Just stop the pawns altogether and still do the move H3. And actually, I'm just going to autoplay that. I'm never going to calculate. It just seems right. It probably isn't the computer standards, but I really have to play a move. I don't want to think too much in the opening. Because my opening moves should actually be like blitzed out. My opening moves actually should be blitzed out. So now I want to do the move C4. They could do bishop B4, but then I got like A3, B4. So I could still do H3 too. I could still do H3 and try to like take these pawns, but it's really more important to like try to figure out exactly what's going on with my pieces on the queen side. So c4, bishop takes on c4. If they do capture our c4 pawn, we are going to have to figure out what we're doing with our king, but it kind of depends on what our opponent is doing with their king. It kind of depends on what our opponent is doing with their king. So we're going to do a quick knight to c3. We're going to do a quick knight to c3. If this knight ever passes, then we're just going to capture their bishop on e7. It kind of does look like a French type of structure, but they don't got a pawn on e4, so it isn't. And I hate playing like French type of structures just at any point. Bishop h. Yeah, I like to move bishop to h4. I like to move bishop to h4 here. Yeah, I think I did something that they're not used to, because now they're finally thinking. They finally spent a minute to actually consider what's going on here. They did the move a6. Maybe they're preventing me from doing the move knight to b5, but they could be potentially setting up for b5 too. I don't know exactly what is the right move here, so we're just going to do a quick bishop to e7. I mean, bishop to e2. Bishop d3 would have ran into knight to b4, attacking my bishop, so I didn't want to do that. But I do want to disrupt these pawns here. And so now moves like h3 is actually possible. Maybe. Probably still not possible, because once we open up the H file, our rook will be pinned. I mean, our bishop will be pinned to the rook. D takes. We got two options: take it with the bishop or take it with the knight. So take with bishop. They are definitely setting up to do the move. They are definitely setting up to do the move b5 here. Knight takes. And so we're gonna have to figure out what to do with the pieces here. Bishop takes. It's just two different strategies here. It's just two different strategies I have to think about. I don't really got time, so we're just gonna do bishop takes and hope for the best. I'm already too far below on my opponent here, especially in the opening. Especially in the opening. Now, there is a key difference though if my opponent, if I do bishop d3 here, because if they do knight to b4, I could bring it back and maybe do a3, kick it out. But this is just a really weird position. We're just gonna go bishop e7. Really quick move. I'm pretty sure it's still solid. They're like overextended on both sides here. And so their king might actually be staying in the center. Now I do got moves like bishop takes, and I'm definitely gonna have to like keep my eye on those moves like bishop takes, knight to e4, bishop goes back, etc. But there's no follow-up after bishop goes back. There's no follow-up at all. Let's just do a3, and we're doing the move a3 just to figure out what our opponent wants to do. If our opponent is just throwing pawns, we really need to actually see what's their plan here. Yesterday, I saw a post on Insta where a guy finally got his first best move with a 4K blunders, mistakes, and misses. And at the bottom, there is something new as well, probably how the guy won the game. The last category was a group of crows. What the heck? I don't know. Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, that's something. That's an interesting post there. Did Ben Feingold reach out for a collab? No, he haven't. And if you know Ben Feingold and you're his mod on Discord or something, hey, set that up. Just like how I got a collab with GM Canty. Set that up. A lot of people saying h3, but I really don't think that's a good move here, because after h3, and they do like an improving move. H takes on G4, H takes on G4. And I would want to do the move like bishop takes on G4, but that rook would be pinning our bishop to my rook on H1. And so maybe, just depending on my opponent's next move, I could castle here. Okay, now they're trying to attack. This is when the tactics start. The middle game has finally started. I could decide on taking the knight on D5 here, but they don't have to recapture me back.
I'm just rated with 112 views.
What? Who? Hey, yo. Nanami, what's good? Shout out to Nanami, man. Make sure that you go follow her, especially on Twitch. Let me hurry up and do this. Let me hurry up and do this shout out right quick, guys. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you for all the support, especially from her streams. I've been watching them. It's actually really entertaining. I wish mine was set up like that. I wish mine was set up like that, but I had to do my own style.
FP2601201 just followed.
Okay, thank you. Just gave you a shout out. Appreciate it.
LC11 just followed.
We're just gonna hurry up and take this, and it's probably not the best move, but our opponent is still playing crazy a little bit. We can actually do H3 here. We'll actually do H3 here. Ooh, there.
Just followed.
Okay, I just figured out a plan. Since they don't want to castle, we are going to like hone in on these dark squares here. Since they don't want to castle, we are going to hone in on their pawn weaknesses here. So that G2 pawn is what they're going after. I can still actually do H3 now. H3 and threaten to take. They are threatening to do this move. There's so much to think about and not enough time. Yeah, let's hurry up and do H3 just to figure out what our opponent wants to do here. Because this can't be that good. This can't be that good. And officially, I am low on time, but we actually have to think about like the plans that we had to do. If this knight ever moves, I do have rook c1 to attack this bishop on c6 because it's out there, it's exposed. So obviously that would be like a key point to remember. And then plus two, if they do want to overextend with f5, and I'm going to say overextend because when I'm playing my opponent, there's no respect. You know what I mean? There's not going to be like a kumbaya happening here. Like I'm trying to demolish you in your overextended pawns. I went away for 5 seconds to get some water and a raid. Yeah, one of the biggest raids happened right now. Because I know we had a raid yesterday that was pretty big, but Nanami came in with the 100 viewership. One of the veterans on chess.com. So, hey, give her all the follows and a shout out. Wait, can you show your t-shirt? I want to see the maiden too. Here you go. Here's a good, maybe that's better. Okay. Now, if you're on YouTube, you can actually go back to the video and see exactly what's the move on the shirt. So they did do this. They did do this. I wonder, weirdly enough, I do have knight to G5 here. But I'm just going to go along with my original plan. If they do this, that would be crazy. Honestly, I think I would have to give back the material if they did that. But I don't know if I would even capture if they did that. Wouldn't that be? Okay. This position could get crazy. I don't know if the tactics actually work for my opponent, but it's a really good human move if he does go for the sacrifices. It's a really good human move. Hi H1, how's your Canty Arena today? I beat you twice. Hey, why you have to come here and say that? Why you gotta be disrespectful and say that? You didn't have to. You did beat me twice though in the bullet arena. But guess what? I still got second place, so you're still the loser. you're still a loser, bro. Stick out my tongue. You're still the loser, bro. So basically, they decided to castle on the king side. They basically decided to castle on the king side. This just became a very tactical position, especially after this move that I'm going to do now. Queen B3 has to be done. Queen B3 has to be done. So that's the goal. In case any of this crap happens, that's going to happen. Yeah, but your IQ is 80. How do you know my IQ? What? Oh, you're roasting the people for me. I don't have to roast them. Y'all can roast them for me. Hey, whoever does the best roast, I'll pin your comment. I can still take here. This position is crazy, guys. This position is crazy. All right. I don't want my opponent to take, so we're going to take. And this is just about intuition. This isn't like I didn't calculate it. Just intuition wise and knowing the chess principles that I know. We're going to take, and then castle queen side. Because I can still castle. And this is one of those positions where it was really important to wait to see your opponent's plan before you castle. Did y'all forget that I could castle queenside?
Edging your 90 just followed.
So you have to be really careful pushing your pawns up so easily, because every pawn push that you do creates a weakness. For example, if you did do E4 here, then you would have to, like, that's a big concession. E4, they take, you take back. And then that D pawn is just, I don't know. That D pawn is a isolated pawn. And so that's one of the things that you would have to think about in your calculation. Is your position ready to deal with that isolated D pawn? So the main goal here is obviously to open up the center. It's obviously to open up the center. What is the best way to open up the center? I haven't figured that out yet. Not gonna lie. I haven't figured that out yet. E4, they do have moves like knight to F4. I don't like knight to F4. But, well, no, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I could, F3 is probably a good move to do to begin out this. F3 is probably a good move to do. Okay, so I want to open up their king side. So we're going to do the move F3. We're going to figure out how they want to respond to that. F3 is kind of opening up things, and we do have our increment to remind ourselves with. Hand grenades open up the center. I know, right? But it's not so easy. You can't just open up the center. You have to think about your opponent's threats afterwards. Was the movie Scream actually scary? Because my whole class screamed. Dude, bro. Stop being self-detriment. Wait a minute. Oh, you're trying to roast that one guy. Was the movie Scream actually scary? Because my whole class screamed after seeing this ghost face, which I found surprising. I look at you and think 2 billion years of evolution for this. 6'4". But H1, has you seen the chess dogs? I haven't seen them in a while. Well, I think he's at the tournament, right? Isn't he at the Tata Still tournament? How do y'all not know? Isn't that y'all boy? I'm thinking he's at the tournament. Man, this is I don't have time to calculate knight takes and then queen takes on g2. I don't have time to calculate that. No, I'm gonna. We're gonna have to do bishop takes. There are some things that I was worried about after g takes on f3. All right, so they're definitely trying to beat me on time. But the thing is, I'm gonna bring the rook back to the center. They're definitely going faster to try to beat me on time. But if they're gonna go faster, then that's gonna provoke them not to do the best moves too. Finally do the move e4. I think it's thematic to do the move e4 now than it was beforehand. Because my rook is on the same file as my opponent's king. Wow. They want this. This position just got crazy. I don't know what's going on anymore. It's not contained at all. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on going. I'm really thinking this is, their king is literally in the center. Their king is literally in the center. It's like, I don't know how this is good for my opponent. You're gonna have to show me. You're gonna have to show me, bro. Yay! Now it's all just about finessing. Because I think I have the better pieces, but it's just all about finessing.
His name is John C.
Guys, do y'all think that's really appropriate here? This isn't a GG yet. They still got 2 rooks. Chill, guys. Chill. I like these bishops and I like my bishop and knight. I just need more time, so I'm actually just doing moves so I can just gather some more time. I'm not lying. All right, this is usually my plan when I don't have enough time, especially if I have increment. What is the best way to finesse my opponent? I think it might be this. I'm not looking at the chat right now because I don't need moves suggested, guys. That's the last thing I need during the chess game. And then I can't do the move because that would be cheating. So even if that's the best move and I see it, I'm gonna be like, I can't do the move. Y'all cheated. Okay, there you go. I was looking for the mess up, and that was it. Because that's a really hard position to try to defend. Good job though. Good job.